Greetings in love and light of the infinite creator. I'm Andrii and joined here with Adam, Fred, Ed, Dan, Bill, Benning, Grace, and we'll just be discussing Confederation view on dreams and dream work for the session. Okay, so we were just looking over Dan's recurring dreams with water. So this is a powerful message. Water and the ocean, symbol of the deep mind. The Confederation philosophy, water often represents the unconscious or deep mind, the vast, rich inner territory where truths, memories, and unprocessed catalysts reside. Flooding or waves suggest overwhelming emotional content, experiences, or feelings that may not have been fully met or integrated. Being submerged or drowned often reflects a fear of losing control, identity, or a sense of safety in the face of deep internal change or healing. The imagery of driving a bus, a vehicle carrying others, and then falling into the ocean adds a layer. Dan may feel responsible for others, family, team, community, but feels unprepared or unsupported in navigating an emotional depth. The fall into the water may reflect the soul's urging to surrender control and allow the healing or transformation to take place. Confederation parallels. Common themes are loss of control. Recurring dreams with these motifs are often tied to fears and unresolved catalysts being worked on by the subconscious. Each time that the theme recurs, there are nuances to be learned each time. Recurrence isn't failure, but a loving spiral of opportunity. School in which we learn while sleeping. The dream may not only be symbolic, but partially a teaching of initiatory environment where the self is guided through emotional alchemy. Where in waking life does he feel emotionally overwhelmed or caring too much? Is he resisting something within that needs to be grieved, released, or surrendered? Has he felt out of control in situations involving others' well-being? And might the ocean, rather than being an enemy, be the spiritual waters of rebirth? What do you think, Dan?
If you scroll back up, I think you mentioned something about teamwork or.
Well, being responsible, yes. So Dan may feel responsible for others, family, team, community, but feels unprepared or unsupported in navigating emotional depth.
I think it may have to do with emotion. So it also comes in with like these. I think the water flooding my dreams, like at the end of most of my dreams, it happens when like I encounter a situation and I can't pass it, and then out of frustration, I just go crazy. Like I have these dreams of group dynamics, and I'm always being like isolated, or I feel like I make everyone's against me, and I just go nuts and I start killing things or whatever, and then that's when the water starts flooding in and like ending my dream. But it's like I always fail. Like I feel like I can't fit in with the group or something, and then when I get isolated or like everyone's like I feel like everyone's looking at me, then I go crazy in the dreams. I don't know. That's why I feel like it's a reoccurring thing, and then the water thing, but I don't know.
Okay, cool. So, dearest Dan, your dream sparks with the raw voice of the heart, one that feels alienated, overwhelmed, and unsupported. The water that rushes in isn't merely a symbol of chaos, it may well be the soul's cry for reunion, understanding, and emotional release. Let us meet this dream with compassion and insight from the Confederation's lens. Dream interpretation. When isolation overflows, your recurring pattern, a conflict, then emotional overload, followed by being drowned by water, can be seen as the psyche's symbolic response to social rejection or misalignment. The dream begins with others against you, suggesting a deep seated wound around belonging, identity, or being misunderstood. The Confederation teachings note that some wanderers and sensitive souls carried this very feeling. I've never had the feeling that I was a part of this planet. 880327. Emotional suppression. When your feelings can't find voice or validation, the water builds. It may seem destructive, but it's also a catalyst for release. These dreams often recur. Some sort of fear or negative emotion which the self is attempting to deal with while maintaining the integrity of the conscious mind. the collapse into the unconscious. Going nuts and being overwhelmed is the mind's threshold crossing into the deeper waters, not insanity, but invitation. You may be resisting an inner truth that feels too tender or painful, and the dream is asking, will you let yourself feel this, even if it breaks you open? And each time that the theme recurs, okay, so it may be also the baptism, an invitation to wash away the false story of I don't belong and reconnect with the truth that you are part of all that is, you are loved, and you are not alone. A gentle practice for down. Say aloud or inwardly, I welcome the emotions that ask to be seen. I do not need to carry the weight of being against the world. Let me be held, even in the flood. Visualize yourself floating in the ocean, not drowning. A being of light or higher self joins you, saying, you are seen, you are safe. Ask in prayer or meditation, what does the water want to show me that I've been afraid to feel? The final whisper, this dream is not your enemy, it is a heart calling home. And perhaps in being surrounded by water, you're not being destroyed, but immersed in the deep womb of rebirth. All right. Yeah, I was thinking too, like water is also kind of like love, and so it's kind of like flooding you with love. But I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, I screenshotted that what to do before I go to bed, um,
Hmm.
and I think that rather than fight it, just go with it. And I'm also going to explore lucid dreaming because I think maybe I can explore my dreams better by doing that. But thank you.
Hmm. Yeah, and then just like I found, at least for me, one of the most useful things is just practicing that, like when you feel overwhelmed in the daytime or while you're dreaming, just take some breaths and calm down and refocus on gratitude and love and kindness for all creation, and then things improve and the dream may change and things like that. Mhm.
All right, thank you.
Yep. So any more questions on dreams, guys?
Well, I just wanted to comment a bit on
Hmm.
Dan. It to me at some point in there it said like to break it down, it's because you're fearing something in the dream, I would imagine. So I don't know, Dan, if you've ever written down like what you're afraid of. Like I imagine when you're going through the know yourself, accept yourself, know the other self, accept the other self practices in the law of one, that you might that might I mean we all should probably start there. you know, writing down what our desires are, things that we do or don't want to happen, and then looking into them more.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to I gotta meditate on this. It was a lot that I saw, so uh,
Hmm.
I'm trying to
What
figure it
what are
out.
your thoughts, Bill? What would you say?
Or I mean, if Dan's overwhelmed, maybe we should move to another topic. But go ahead, Bill.
Well, I don't know. Dreams are all kind of personal to everybody,
Hmm.
and people make guesses. I mean, I got a little book about what imagery and dreams are supposed to be and stuff like that, but that's all just somebody's, conjecture. I mean, what do they really know? All I know is like my most dreams I have. It goes back to this place in 2009 where I kind of couldn't pay my rent, and so I had to leave. So I have dreams constantly about not paying my rent and leaving all my stuff. I used to have these dogs that they died, but they were like 11 and 12 when they passed. They were big dogs, but I have a lot of dreams about them and me not taking care of them right and stuff like that. But so a lot of my dreams that I remember are just like stuff that happened to me in life, and I fully, I guess you can say, haven't gotten over them. They're still in my psyche.
Hmm.
But even though I'm like, hey, we got to let that go. But
Out
they
of
still show up in your dreams.
hmm.
So you can probably have a lot of unprocessed catalysts showing up in your dreams.
Yeah. Usually, you got to forgive yourself and the landlord and everyone involved, and be like, that's as best
Yeah.
as I knew. I was doing the best I could at the time.
Mm.
You know, and being easy on yourself in the past will let you be easy on others in the future. And I think that's kind of the way of it. Here's the summary by the smart version. Why the Confederation pays attention to dreams. Dreaming is not a sideshow to waking life. The Confederation calls it an activity of this nature without which the physical being would soon be unable to function. In sleep, the animating spirit refreshes, balances energetic distortions, and stores vitality for the next day. Thus, every seeker already uses dream time. The spiritual task is to become conscious partners in that work. Core functions of the dream state: energetic refresh and healing. Many dreams perform their service unconsciously. Some work their purpose when unrecalled, in general of a healing nature. Catalyst processing. Mundane garden variety dreams replay daily catalyst until a more harmonious inner response is found. And maybe that's what we're seeing with Dan and Bill. Um, Contact and learning. Adepts may request guidance, teacher, or higher self instruction while the conscious mind rests. That's more like those lucid dreams and stuff. Service to others. Rare healers leave their body during sleep to aid those in need. And that would be like, those flying dreams, um, visitations. Polarization tool. When indigo ray opens, dreaming becomes the most efficient tool for polarization. Wow, that's cool. Kinds of dreams you may meet. Or I don't know. Did you guys want to reflect on this before we move on to the next session?
No, I was going to say something.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that I kind of read that a while ago, in the literature with the Confederation, and then I thought of like because a lot of times, I was a teenager and in my 20s during the 1980s,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of guys were doing a lot of drugs, and a lot of guys were smoking crack a lot and stuff like that back then, and they literally would not sleep for weeks, and some would even
Whoa.
not sleep for months. They claimed they were so effed up, and so when I first read that, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's one thing really kind of a big drawback of using these methamphetamines and crack and these cocaine and these drugs that keep you up for days on end. You don't recharge. You don't like because I see the dreams has like going back into reality or the closest to the reality, like we're leaving the illusion for the second and kind of going deep in the subconscious and we're out. And so we get charged, we get connected in these dream states. So when I saw that, I just reflected on all these people that were like on drugs and staying up all the time. And I'm like, oh, that's not very helpful.
No, no. Yeah, I know. I think that like for normal people, at least who are not on drugs, like there's a certain number of days you can stay awake without like going crazy or dying or something like the record is not that many days. Here, let me open another one. How What's record for staying up without dreaming? Hmm. 11 days. Day 3 to 4, he was experiencing hallucinations, memory issues, and paranoia. Yeah. So there you go.
And
So
and that was somebody not on drugs. That was just a sober guy, huh?
yeah, that was just a sober guy. Yeah, because it's kind of like your soul needs it to
Mhm.
recharge. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, exactly. So when I think of people on drugs that stay up all the time, I like, oh, they're getting further and further disconnected from their inner self, their spiritual self, the metaphysical.
Hmm.
My dad's big into the belief that doctors prescribe medicine that's going to keep you alive, and he says he doesn't remember ever having a dream. He's been on like medication his whole life,
Oh my gosh.
and and it makes me wonder, like, how can you polarize in this density if you don't have dreams? Like, isn't the whole
Yes.
point to have a little bit of dreams and still go on? But I imagine if some people in the sinkhole could possibly just get into habits where they don't experience dreams, thus they never polarize, you know?
You can kind of answer that with observations of your dad. Does your dad think of anything metaphysically or spiritually or, you
No, but I
know,
don't think you need to do that. I think it's still intention and service, but
well,
Grace has her hand up. Go ahead, Grace.
Yes, thank you, Andrii, and everyone for their input. I've heard it said that so when it comes to dreaming and remembering or not remembering your dreams, um, like I've even said, I'm like, oh, I don't remember dreaming last night. I don't remember anything, and I always just thought it meant that I wasn't dreaming. And if I woke up and remembered a dream, that meant I dreamt. And I can't remember what podcast it was. It might have been like an expert who was a sleep expert who was on probably Rich Roll, maybe, or Dr. Andrew Huberman. And I heard it said that if you wake up, so I'm going to talk about me. If I wake up and I remember my dream, right? It's like there at the forefront is when I open my eyes and I become like awake. It means that I haven't finished a sleep cycle. So
Hmm.
the sleep cycle has been interrupted somehow. But that if I don't wake up and don't remember anything, it doesn't mean that I didn't dream. I did, but my slight sleep cycle that I was on came to like a natural end. I don't know if
it
that's true for
resonates. That's
everybody.
kind of genius.
It's interesting, right? Yeah, and Adam, what you were saying about medication, yeah, I mean, I personally I take a sleep medication, but it's specifically just to get me. I have a hard time achieving like REM sleep for a significant amount of time, so that my body can repair itself and my brain can flush out all the toxins from the day, right? Although the waste in my body, like chemically or whatever the brain needs to clean itself. Um, so yeah, but it still happens to me some days where I wake up and I'm like, oh, no dreams. I don't remember anything. And then there's other ones where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. I woke up in the middle of it. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Oh,
I'm loving this conversation. This is awesome.
hey, would you mind telling us what the name of that medication is? I just want to compare it to mugwort.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess the brand name is Elavil, but then the is it the chemical name? I forget what the other one is. It's amitriptyline. So it's a really old antidepressant, I think from like the 60s and 70s. And what they discovered over time in studies is that this medication is helpful in low doses for people to achieve REM sleep who have difficulty getting there for whatever reason. For me, it's a chronic pain issue, right? But that medication, like there's sometimes where I forget to take it, or it's not that I forget to take it. I'll fall asleep because I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna watch a little bit of TV, and then I'm out, and then in the morning I feel the difference having not taken it, which is really interesting.
Okay,
So it works. Yeah.
well, here is the analysis from ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Uh, so mugwort increases dream vividness and may cause more REM recall, but it says that amitriptyline suppresses REM sleep at low doses.
Oh,
and
really?
decreases dream recall, less REM, less dream content, no spiritual use. Whereas mugwort enhances lucid vivid dreams, widely used for dream work. But the amitriptyline is
Let me see this
strongly
prompt.
sedating.
Get out of here. What?
Yes.
Can you put, Andre, would you mind putting a link to this in the chat? Because
Sure.
yeah, anything
Okay,
that
I'm just going to jump in.
Go ahead.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason that you're probably feeling an effect from amitriptyline in giving you vivid lucid dreams is because of the fact that it is heavily linked to DMT. So dimethyltryptamine and
Right.
amitriptyline are basically
Oh my
very
gosh, I never made that
very
connection.
chemically similar.
Right.
So that is why it's heavily sedative. That's why it gives you effects. Yep.
Oh,
Unconscious
thank
effects.
you, Ed. I so
but-
appreciate that.
Yes, that's actually the reason that it's shaped the way that it is because it's trying to attack the serotonin receptor in the part of the brain that is activated, the depression center. That's the bit that magic mushrooms activate. So they needed something that activates that specifically to cause antidepressant effects. I believe it also has effects on histamine receptors as well, if I remember rightly. So it was one of the first wave of antihistamine drugs that this was all found out afterwards, if I remember rightly. I can't fully remember. It's really late here. I'm tired, but.
No, this is so helpful. I have a little bit of research to do, and I love that mugwort is mentioned because anything that I can take that is not from a pharmaceutical company or that I can substitute, I would much rather do that.
Yes.
This is incredible. Thank
yeah,
you.
Mugwort is amazing. Like, I literally it goes all over the place. You should be able to find it somewhere close to where you live. It is such a prevalent herb.
It's
you can
a
identify
Eurasian
it from
though. It's not
the
common
top
in
of
North
the-
America.
I have an apothecary close, not far from my home that I go to, and they have everything. And I
Okay,
love
yeah,
it.
you could probably buy
Yes.
it. You could buy it online for very cheap.
And it grows like mad. Buy some seeds.
Yeah, and then you could grow
introduce it to
yourself,
America.
too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes, I could grow it myself. Oh my god, this is incredible. Yay, I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
coming on
Yeah, I would
this.
definitely order it online. I'm always weary of those
top side of the leaf is
apothecaries.
like a dark green.
Are
And then
you
the
really,
underside
Adam?
is shining
Yeah,
silver.
because
Well,
if they put like poisonous plant in it before the same jar, and it's not, you got to ask them like, do they use the same jar just for, human consumption mugwort, or is this jar for like magical uses? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I see where you're going.
Some
Yes,
places
yes.
label their stuff, but that's why I'd order online.
Okay,
Or grow
good
it.
to know. Good to do. You use it just Amazon or?
I
Yeah,
ordered it on
yeah.
Amazon. It was like $20 for like a pound.
That's reasonable. Okay. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
this
you
is
only need a
exciting.
teaspoon. I don't know.
Yeah. Be careful with it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, look.
Also,
Here, 1
side note,
pound
you
for
can smoke
35
it.
Canadian, which is like 20 American or something.
That's totally. I would do that.
And
right?
then you
To get
only
rid
need
of
like
another
1
medication.
gram. That's a year's supply.
Right? That's incredible. Are you kidding me? Like
Yeah.
that's what it cost me for the sleep medication in a month. So
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and it's growing from the earth. Yeah.
One thing is that mugwort
And you
is
can
not
smoke
sedative,
it.
but you could do chamomile for this, or you could do something else for the sedation part,
Valerian.
or skullcap.
Sorry, or what?
Skullcap.
Oh, I've heard of that too. Okay, I have to text that to myself. Yes. I forgot about skull cap.
Mhm.
Okay.
It calms the
Valerian.
nervous system,
Seriously,
sleep,
why
and
does
dream
everyone
work.
Valerian grows? It's wide. It's everywhere, and it's so lovely.
Thank you so much. Oh, I love this. This is awesome. I'm so glad I hopped on. Yay.
We don't have it in the desert.
Here it says, here valerian can deepen sleep but may suppress REM in some. Anyways, valerian may cause vivid or bizarre dreams or suppress them, whereas skullcap enhances dream recall through calm, mindful sleep. and it does not suppress REM. So light, calming, clarity, and pairs with mugwort, whereas valerian sometimes clashes. And it's also 1 teaspoon, but I think it is a little bit more expensive than the mugwort in terms of quantity. Skullcap. Let's see, how much is this? It doesn't say how many grams. Oh, like 1 ounce is $25, but you still just need a teaspoon.
That's
So,
amazing. That would last so long. Great. Okay.
yeah.
This is
So the other
very
one,
cool.
It's
if you
enough
do
for 3
actually want,
months.
if you do want stuff that helps with lucid dreaming,
Yeah.
obviously, let's obviously not forget the blue lotus flower.
Oh, I've heard of that too. Yes, yes. That's something I've wanted to look into as well.
That's very similar to mugwort, and it works very
Okay.
synergistically with mugwort, and you can smoke them both together. It basically it's like quite a potent drug that only affects you while you're asleep. It's kind of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. Blue Lotus, ChatGPT is saying is good too.
Okay. All right.
It just doesn't grow here, which is why I prefer Skullcap, because you can grow it outside.
Amazing.
And it can do partial shade. So I think you can
that's
even grow it
perfect.
indoors.
Yeah, because my window is partial shade, some direct sun, some indirect sunlight.
Mhm.
I grow quite a bit there. So okay, thank you. This is incredible.
Mhm.
I'm always whenever I'm able to come on, it's always this is I'm home. Thank you. Thank you,
Oh.
everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it prefers moisture. So make sure you should be able to, but I mean, it would probably be easier just to, or you could get a 3-month supply for $25 or whatever. So I think it might
That's nothing. Yeah,
I know.
Amazing.
Have you guys ever heard of wild lettuce?
Okay.
You just read my mind, Ed. You
Seriously,
literally
wild
just
lettuce
picked that
is
out of
fun.
my brain because I have been looking into that, doing a little bit of research online. And so here, I'm in Ontario. It would be really hard to find it in the wild what's the wild, like, unless I want to go like up north somewhere, because a lot, like I can't go foraging in any of like the parks or anything like that. Everything is, they treat all of the grass. They spray everything, right? So I
It's
can't just
actually
go
illegal in Ontario for them to spray the grass with
Oh,
pesticides.
I mean like the public parks.
In those parks, if they spray, they have to put up those signs and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, otherwise it's illegal in any like urban or suburban area.
Oh, I didn't know that. I always
Yeah.
just assumed that that's what they did because it's part of the City of Toronto Parks and Rec. Oh my gosh. Okay,
They
this is really
used
good.
to,
Yes.
but yeah, now it's they passed some law in Ontario like a few years ago, maybe
Okay.
8. Yeah, it's now illegal to use pesticides. What do you call it? For ornamental purposes or whatever.
Oh, okay. All right. This is really
Cosmetic.
good. Yes.
They call it cosmetic.
Yeah, because wild lettuce is something I'm definitely for chronic pain, right? So yeah, you plucked that right out of my head, and it's incredible.
I saw this thing and it quoted a Victorian book that talks about like party etiquette and things in the Victorian era, and it says if you're after dinner entertainment, if you have run out of either cocaine or opium, wild lettuce is a good alternative.
Really?
Wow. What a recommendation from the Victorians.
I love it. That's awesome.
So here's a ChatGPT comparison here.
Yes, please.
So
Thank
with
you.
the wild lettuce, so it's more similar to skullcap in terms of its neutral effect on REM.
Okay.
But effect on dream dulls if overdosed. It's grounding, whereas skullcap enhances clarity and gentle dream recall. I know, like, I used to have issues with like dreams being kind of like, when I remember them, being like rather uncomfortable, and that kind of put me off trying to remember my dreams. But with the skull cap, it's just like I'm like a rock, it's just like I'm unperturbed by what happens.
Wow, that's
And
beautiful.
so it's very nice that way.
This is really incredible.
Yeah.
And
So
if you wouldn't mind, Andre, putting the link to this in the chat as well.
yes. Okay,
Thank
sure.
you so much. Yeah, this is yeah, I just love it. This is, yeah, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Amazing.
Great.
Thank you so much.
I think it's the same link.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because it's this. We're in the same.
Yep, I've got it. I've got it.
Yeah, I don't know if you try opening it on your end. I don't know if it'll.
Yep, it's there.
It's there.
It's right there. Yep, I got it.
Great.
Amazing.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, that's why I kind of am more leaning towards the skull cap here. If you guys want to see what it looks like, I don't know. Images. Can you see it?
I like the color. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. Nature's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
For every problem, nature has a solution, or God has made a solution.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I believe that 100%. Incredible.
Paracelsus, 1380 or some shit, right?
Paracelsus? What?
That's the guy that said that for every ill, nature has a cure.
Oh yes, yes. Mm-hmm. And you know what I've been finding is that it seems that the herbs that grow in your area are actually healthier for you. In terms of, like, for example, like turmeric is and black pepper are the go-to anti-inflammatories. But there is actually a hardy alternative that is better for people that live in cold climates, which is black seed or Nigella sativa, because not only is it anti-inflammatory, but it's also immunomodulating. Whereas turmeric helps, it's anti-inflammatory and it helps with people's guts. Where, like, people that live in the tropical areas where turmeric grows, there's a lot of parasite load, and so they need help with their guts to soothe out those parasites or whatever. Whereas us in the more temperate areas, we need more help with disease, because there's more disease due to the cold and stuff like that, like colds and flus. And so black seed is better for that. And then it works like a spice, like black pepper. Nigella sativa. And it's got a really funky flower. Did you see this? Hello?
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
What do you call it? The Prophet Muhammad actually commented on this, saying that black seed cures everything other than death.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. All right. So, we were going through this dream thing over here. Grace, go ahead.
Yeah, so I know Adam had asked me if I had any questions about dreams, and thank you for posing the question, because I couldn't think of anything at the time, but I often will have dreams. It's like a recurring dream. It's not always the same, like the scenery is different and the location is different, but the core of the dream is always the same.
Okay.
And I'm being chased. I'm being chased. I don't know by who, and I never really know why. But I'm running. I'm like trying to get away. And sometimes sometimes the dream is just like if like a very rudimentary cartoon, right? Like trees are just green balls, right? And everything else is dark. And but then other times the scenery and the location is parts of the city that I live in that I've been to. And I'm usually like, as I'm running, as I'm like, going up a set of stairs jumping out the window, whatever it is, right? Usually I pick up a couple people along the way who are running with me, and then I lose someone, and it's like, we got to keep going. I never get caught. I always just wake up. I know that I've looked it up before what it meant, but I can't remember now. But this has been a common one for, I'd say, it like at least like, what are we in 2025? So I'm gonna say like maybe the past 9 years or something like that. Not often, but often enough that I'm like,
All right. Let's see what the AI has. Grace's dream is a dance of mystery and motion, a soul story played in shadow and symbol. Though she's never caught, the chase continues. Let's explore through the lens of Confederation wisdom and gentle insight. So being chased in dreams, especially without clear knowledge of who or why, often points to unintegrated aspects of the self, parts that are calling out not to harm but to be seen. The Confederation might say recurring dreams indicate some sort of fear or negative emotion, which the self is attempting to deal with while maintaining the integrity of the conscious mind. Key elements and their meaning. Being chased is something within, an emotion, a truth, a calling, is seeking acknowledgement. The chaser may be a metaphor for unresolved catalyst or internal pressure. No clarity on who or why. This suggests that the issue is buried deep, perhaps below conscious memory, or protected by the subconscious until Grace is ready to meet it. Cartoon versus real city. The cartoon may represent early life, childhood experiences. The city scene suggests the issue is now intertwined with her current life. Jumping, picking up people. The points in Grace's resilience and role as helper. Yet losing someone may reflect fear of abandonment or her inability to save everyone, perhaps including herself. Never caught, just wakes up. The dream ends before resolution, not out of cruelty, but because the integration is still in progress. The soul is gently circling the lesson. 9 years of dreaming, 9 years of teaching. Each time that the theme recurs, the motif is offered in a new instrumentalization. There is no reason to be discouraged. Grace's dream changes form. Cartoons, city, different companions. This suggests her inner self is trying multiple symbolic vocabularies to express the same unresolved dynamic. Rather than being haunted, she is being invited. Gentle question for Grace to reflect on. What is my waking life do I avoid or suppress even gently? Do I ever feel I must outrun responsibility, emotion, or expectation? Who do I carry in life and who have I lost? What would it mean to turn and face the pursuer emotionally or spiritually? Before bed, she might softly say, "To that which chases me, I turn to meet you with love. I'm ready to hear your voice, even if it is only in whispers." Okay, final whisper. Grace's dream is not a warning, it's a summons to wholeness. The chaser is likely a forgotten piece of her own brilliance, waiting to be welcomed back. All right. Yeah, and then I'd like to share my own chasing dreams that I had when I was like an early teen, and how they resolved themselves for me is that I just turned to them with love, basically. And then they just, resolve themselves.
That's incredible. Would you mind, Andre, putting the link to that in
Yes,
in the chat? Everything there is like completely bang on. This is incredible. Oh wow. Okay. Thank you also for sharing your experience. That's been the theme lately with me. I'd say in the last few months. I keep hearing, I keep seeing, I keep coming across in my daily life. Love. Just everyone is hurt. Like this person is hurting. They need to show them love. right? If I can,
Yeah.
all I need to do is bring love to the situation, and it's going to be like 100% better than any other way. So thank you so much. This is incredible. Yeah. Thank you.
Here, create link.
Are you recording her? How'd you get so much of your dream? Are you typing really fast?
I am a professional, an IT professional. I can type very fast. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can type
So
like
you're typing as she's talking, huh?
50 words a minute or something like that. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. So one of the things that I wanted to explore was this contact and learning. Adepts may request guidance, teachers, or higher self instruction while the conscious mind rests. And when the indigo ray opens, dreaming becomes the most efficient tool for polarization. Okay, so the Confederation's teachings, dreams as spiritual classrooms and dreams as tools for transformation polarization. Let's unfold both. Dreaming as contact and learning. When the conscious mind rests, the deeper layers of self, the subconscious, the higher self, and even guides can more easily communicate. The adept may call upon those which guide it, those presences which surround it, and most of all, the magical personality as it moves into the sleeping mode of consciousness. This means dreams become a classroom for the soul. The veil between density thins, and teachers, whether guides, archetypes, or your higher self, may offer lessons through symbolic or direct dream experiences. Conditions to receive this type of contact. Conscious request. Ask clearly before sleep. Tune seeking. Align your intent with love and service. Protected space. Meditate. Surround yourself with light and hold a posture of faith. Symbolic vocabulary. The messages may not be verbal, but expressed through symbols your subconscious understands. Dreaming as the most efficient tool for polarization. When one has begun walking the path of the adept, especially with the indigo ray third eye activated, dreaming becomes a catalyst engine. Dreaming becomes the most efficient tool for polarization. 1981 Raw, 86. What is this? In dreams, you're not limited by ego or waking resistances. The higher self can guide you toward distortions most ripe for healing. You may choose love symbolically or emotionally, reinforcing your chosen polarity, service to others or self. This is powerful because polarization is equal to spiritual momentum towards graduation. Dream work can amplify that polarity when done consciously and in love. I see. I think basically to me this means like you can get into these really complicated maybe nightmare dream scenarios, but then you polarize with love and the whole scene changes. And like that's strongly polarizing. The combined practice to engage both contact and polarization through dreams, nightly intention. I welcome instruction and healing. May this dream offer what most serves my growth in love. Invite your magical self. Imagine a radiant version of yourself, wise, loving, calm, waiting to greet you in the dream realm. Record and reflect. Write your dreams as if they are parables. What part of me is being shown? What choice toward love was offered? And what action or belief can I align today with the love I glimpsed in last night's dream? Oh, yes. Polarization journal. Very good. Very good. I don't know if anyone had any comments on that. I guess that was just a me thing then. Okay. So let's see there was the little course for us. Okay. So these are the kinds of dreams you may meet. Daily catalyst dreams, chaotic, half remembered, easiest to decode. Does anyone know those? Anyone remember those?
Aren't they nightmares?
Well, I guess they might be. Well, here it says nightmares, not a special class, but an urgent form of number 1 or number 2. Fear marks material ready for healing. Deep symbol dreams, archetypal or emotionally charged, repay extended reflection. So yeah, basically, that's kind of the nightmare is an urgent form of those catalyst dreams. I know I've had some of those, like when I wasn't, having dreams for a while, and then at some point I did, and I realized, like, oh, I wasn't spending enough time with one of my children or something like this. And so it was kind of like an urgent catalyst dream in that sense. Because in my dream, like
with me, Andre, I like was explaining a lot of my dreams to my girl, and then she told me those are nightmares. I'm like, they are? I didn't realize.
yeah.
Because I had so much crazy shit happen to me. I guess there's a point I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Dude, it's not just that, yeah? It's that you find the lesson of love in it. So to you, it's not a nightmare. So crazy shit happens. If you find the lesson of love in that, you're doing the work.
Yeah, but I'm not.
You come out feeling good. You don't come out feeling all afraid and messed up by it.
Yeah.
So to you, it's not a nightmare, man.
Yeah.
But Bill says he's not finding the lesson of love.
but I'm not in fear over it either.
Well, that's good. But yeah, basically, I had a dream where I was missing my children. Like in this dream, and then like I had lost them, and that was like deeply painful. And then I woke up, and then I'm like, you know what, my children, I came in and they were still fine, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love my children, and got to spend some time with them and play some games, and it really helped me appreciate them much more. So that was nice. Here, what else we got? Teacher dreams, sense of classroom or unseen guide, content often veiled from waking recall. Oh, that's interesting. So,
Okay, so this is one that I always like to bring up whenever the dream work conversation is talked about. Because this is the one that spoke about extensively in the Voices of Venus.
Okay.
So he says basically during sleep we can astral project out of our bodies to Venus, and on Venus they have classrooms. And essentially, if you want to learn something that you're going to bring back to Earth and do something, say you're a physicist and you're going to learn how to do something, you're Newton and you need to find some inspiration of how gravity works. You astral project to there, you watch the videos in the classroom, you learn, you ask the questions, whatever else. Then you get your mind wiped before you go home, so that you've got the download, you understand it all, you know it all, it's all there, it's all sitting there, you know what you're doing. You just got to get home and kind of activate that little switches, and then boom, it all just comes to you like inspiration, when actually you've actually been up there, Venus, learning it night after night. I like that one.
Yes, that's interesting too. And I know, like in oftentimes in like theta wave, I have lots of inspirations, because that's when you can contact your subconscious mind. And oftentimes before I go like for a nap or something, I set the intention of asking my higher self to give me direction in what is of greatest service that I can do next after waking, because I just have so many potential things that I could be doing that I need direction. And so I ask and happily receive. And then we have service dreams. You act as a helper or healer. Memory may be fragmentary by design. So I think like when I was helping Christia Freeland, that was like one of those helper healer dreams. Because I didn't feel like I was processing any catalyst. I was just kind of like, I did my best to help her. And then the rest of it was just like I was observing her inner mind state, which was weird. But
well, just to say sorry again, I hate when I jump in all the time, but this is another one that that is mentioned that I like to talk about, because this is something that Seth mentions often. So Seth says that if you don't remember your dreams, then the reason that you don't remember them is it could be, obviously there's lots of reasons, but it could be because you have a dream job. So while when you go to sleep, you go off and you actually go and do a job. So one of the examples he gave is basically some people have some kind of crazy over-the-top reaction if they see one of their relatives, or if they see an angel or a grim reaper when they die. Whereas if they see an actual living human, yeah, the astral projects essentially to them,
Mhm.
and then kind of helps them out and kind of guides them, lets them know they're dead, and kind of guides them to the situation to get them out. Apparently, that can actually be one of the best people to help people kind of get off the planet when they, when their time's ended, rather than some of the other host of entities that can take that role. So, once again, the point is that, if you can't remember your dreams, you might be doing something really important, and you just, don't let yourself remember.
Yeah, and it says the teaching teacher dreams are like that.
Hey, Andrii, is
Go ahead.
that Friedland, the politician?
Yes, Christia Freeland. Yes,
She's like a Satanist, I thought.
yes.
A dark occultist.
Well, I don't know why, but basically, like this was a dream that, like, I don't often vividly remember my dreams. And then, like, but this particular dream, it really stuck with me. And then, like, it just kept looping through my head until I wrote it out and posted it. So it was just like one of those dreams that I was like meant to write down and share. Like I felt like that's what I was supposed to do with it. And I guess in a way, at least, and from a personal reflective basis, it helped me have a little more compassion for her in terms of that. If there's any veracity at all to the dream, then it would indicate that she's, a mind control puppet, and she's not in control of herself, and there's some deep ingrained programming where she has some deep delusions. If it's true, but it could just be a dream. I mean, that it's pretty far-fetched, and I would not have thought of that in my waking consciousness, that she would think of herself as a clone. And that but like when I was kind of in her dream mind or whatever, she had like, she had a lot of faith in this global system and things like that, and their technologies.
It kind of be like where Ra was kind of describing like Hitler or Aleister Crowley, where you think they're total service to self, but there's something still in there, kind of, they're still in the sinkhole.
Right. Yeah. Because like the thing is that she wasn't acting from a place of service to self. It was just that she was so deeply deluded because of the mind control programming, where she was trying to end herself because she was trying to protect her prima, her mother, which, because she thought she was a clone of her mother, of the real Christia Freeland.
That's far out stuff, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, like, I would not have thought of that personally. Anyhow, so let's look here at safe and effective dream work, foundational practice. Set clear intention each evening. I desire to remember one dream that will serve my growth. Place pen and notebook or recorder within reach. And here, I started on it, like, basically here. I have a piece of paper. I took some pieces of paper and I folded them. And I'm going to staple them together. And then, like, have a pen handy. And then probably a red, those bike flashlights that go on the end of the bike. Because they're red LEDs. And then I can use that at night without interfering with my my nighttime vision, and that way I can write down my dream. But yeah, I'd need some hard paper or something so that I could use this as a surface. Okay. Record immediately on waking, even a feeling or color. Yes, I know, like, when I tried the mugwort, I was having as I was falling asleep, I was having micro dreams that would last like several seconds, like I would see like a balloon and like someone talking, or something like that. and then it would be over. It was very interesting. That mugwort stuff is pretty powerful.
I seriously love those. I love those little kind of like blipping in and out of like, jumping dimensions for a few seconds and then jumping back in, and well, it's so much fun.
Yeah, mugwort can be pretty interesting.
Well, what great powers you guys have.
Have you ever tried mugwort? It's not us.
No, no, I haven't.
Oh well,
I never had any sleeping problems, really.
You haven't had any which?
Sleeping problems, really.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. Well, it's it's a dream enhancer. It doesn't. It's not actually a sedative. It doesn't help you fall asleep.
And my main problem is that I just don't sleep.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, you're with us all the time, and it's like what, 2 a.m. over there.
I've seen him sleep.
You've seen him sleep. Oh, he falls asleep sometimes. Okay, cool. Oh, after our
He'll pass out with his camera on.
I see. Yeah.
So I've seen him sleep. Maybe not for 8 hours, but
Yeah.
maybe a half hour.
Yeah. Well, I have a bunch of naps too. All right. So, gently reflect. Emotions first, symbols second. Where have I felt this energy in waking life? Combine journal entries with daily meditation, insights from one feed the other. Invite guidance. Only in a tuned and protected atmosphere, crossed hands, legs, prayer, or light visualization. This honors free will and filters contacts to your requested polarity. Invite guidance. Only in a tuned and protected atmosphere. Yes. Yeah, so call on your guides and the infinite creator, or whatever resonates with you as the highest symbol of love in your life. It's always good to do that to make sure you have the benevolent influences. All right. Cultivate faith and patience. The subconscious rewards steady devotion, not impatient analysis. Confederation teachers say the patient daily entities harvest the richest dream lore. Yes. I know when I've done dream work in the past, like basically I would start with basically having like these small short dreams. But then as I would get through it, I would just write them down daily. And then as you do that more, you remember them more, and then they get more intense. Because you become more wired to remember them. But if you're not writing them down and you're not working with them, then you won't have them. So it's really a thing that it requires practice and patience and dedication and discipline.
Yeah, a lot of focus.
Yes. Definitely. Dream work is definitely a discipline. It's not kind of a super easy or anything like that. The majority of people don't remember their dreams, and that's fine. They're not working with them on a spiritual level, and so it wouldn't really help them to remember. Oh, Grace, go ahead.
Thank you, Andrii. This just came to me when you were talking about the discipline that it takes to do the dream work. I can't remember where it is in the Bible, but there's some. I mean, I could Google it, but where it talks about dreams, and that these are like it's important for us to pay attention to. I don't know the exact wording, but the essence of what it says, that it's important for us to we would do well to pay attention to our dreams, and not just like write them off, that there are messages in there for us, on a personal level, if we take the time to do that introspection with them. So Yes, I just wanted to add that. That thank you. Yeah, I like that. So the red light, the red bicycle light, that won't interfere with your
Your circadian rhythm.
Right, right. Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. Good to know. Very good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, you could also get a red flashlight, but in lieu of that, usually the easiest thing that people can obtain is the red, bicycle flashlight. Mhm. Oh, here. I found one that may be what you were talking about. Job 33, 14 to 18. For God speaks in one way and in two, though man does not perceive it. In a dream, in the vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on men, while they slumber on their beds, then he opens the ears of men and terrifies them with warnings, that he may turn man aside from his deed and conceal pride from a man. He keeps back his soul from the pit, his life from perishing by the sword. This passage affirms that God uses dreams to speak to us. People often fail to notice dreams warn, guide, or protect. The subtle channel of dreaming is deliberate, meant to reach us when our defenses are down. Is that the one you were thinking of, or was there another one?
That's the one. Nope, that's the one.
Okay.
Amazing. Thank you, Andrii.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're welcome.
But then that scripture uses the words terrify and, turns it into a battle. It's like, what the hell Orion group shit is that? That to me is Orion
Well,
group channel.
there's some, what do you call it? Some arguments about, the book of Job is actually by historians believed to be the first book ever written in the Bible, before Genesis, because of the structure of the Hebrew in it was older. But that said,
And we've got to remember, Yahweh was a war god.
Yeah.
yeah, and so yes, there was the service, because this the Old Testament is basically before they knew how to test the spirits. And so there's a wide range. There's a lot of service to self information in it, and there's some service to others information in it as well.
That's a lot of apologist philosophy right there you're spewing.
Well, I'm just trying to be compassionate to them. Yeah, go ahead, Grace.
I also, I always have to remember when I don't know how to read Hebrew or Greek, right? So ancient Greek. So when I'm reading the Bible in English, the translated version, I sometimes I have to remember. I try to remind myself that some, because again, it was written by man, right? So there's that hand in it already, right? And then there's the translation and the new there's all these versions and this and that. So, I try to remember that. Don't lose your train of thought, Grace. Don't lose your train of thought. What was it? What were you going to say? Oh, yes. That, and also then there's religion that comes into it, and the times that, that was coming up, after Christ and the days of Paul, that some of it can be a little bit of crowd control too, right? So I always try to kind of remember that. Yeah,
because even the New Testament, I mean, it was made by Constantine and the Nicene
Thank you.
Council.
Well, it was me. Same with the Old Testament.
Well, the Old Testament,
they had what the story was. They had 777 books, and they chose 66.
Wow.
A Luciferian number they chose.
66 or whatever. 6 score. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm not a Bible apologist.
All right. Fair enough. But I just forgive, love, and am kind to all beings to the best of my ability. Okay. Grace would like to speak. Go ahead, Grace.
It's just going to be quick. Just to back on what Bill said too, about not being a Bible apologist. I definitely, I have I don't know if this is controversial. I have a Jehovah's Witness Bible because of the translation. So because English has so many descriptive words that, so when when I'm not a Jehovah's Witness, I like a lot of their stuff. I think it's too constrictive for me personally. But the way that they translate, it's the most basic form, right? As opposed to like embellishing, it's like let's get to the root of what this is really meant to say, and that's helpful for me because what I'll do in the mornings is like I'll have a passage and I read both. I have a few different Bibles and I'll just go and read all of them. But yeah, I find that helpful for me personally. So I just wanted to share that, and I'll shut up now. Thanks.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say, if you are interested in literal versions, I would strongly recommend checking out the Young's Literal Translation, which is the most literal and unbiased translation of the Old and New Testament that I've ever come across in my life. And it's the one that I use for when I want to see the literal word.
Oh yes, I love so Young. So Young, the Young's
Yes. Yeah, Young's
So-
literal translation. He taught himself Hebrew and Greek by looking at the letters and how they were structured and everything. And it's a nearly one-to-one correspondence of what is like if they used a certain word, then it would always be that word in the translation.
Oh my gosh, amazing. I can get this for $30 on Amazon. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
you're
didn't
welcome.
know about this. It's beautiful. Thank you
Mhm.
so much.
Yep. And so, what's the Confederation perspective on Bible apologists? Their core emphasis is unity love. From the Confederation perspective, religious texts like the Bible are seen as valid and valuable instruments for spiritual growth when approached with an open heart. Bible apologists, those who defend and rationalize biblical teachings, are not judged, but rather appreciated as entities seeking to serve and share love in their own way. However, the Confederation gently cautions that literal or rigid interpretations can sometimes hinder the broader, more universal truths that transcend dogma. For instance, in session 2008-0308, Kuon noted that while religious dogma may confine, it also serves as a stepping stone for many seekers. Those who resonate with it do so because it meets their spiritual needs at that point in their journey. Kuo encourages seeing beyond the surface of Scripture to perceive the underlying message of love, unity, and service to others. Apologetics, from this view, is part of the dance of seeking, and while it might anchor some in fixed beliefs, it also opens doorways for deeper contemplations and inner awakening with humility and openness. All right. So, and as their teachings advocate for honoring all paths sincerely.
That reminds me of that thing. What is it? Everyone joins the Golden Dawn because they want to become a wizard. But then, 5 years later, they're just another Christian.
What? I don't understand. Can you explain that, Ed?
Yeah, say that again, Ed. I didn't catch all of it, please.
Everybody wants to go and join the Golden Dawn, being the kind of, the magical secret society, thinking that, you're going to join up and you can become a wizard. But then when you get into it, it is like at its core, deeply Christian mysticism. So, 5 years later, I can cry, yeah, love you, Jesus. Woo, yeah, woo, yeah.
So it's just another Christian. I see now. Okay, cool. That's funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
No, that's what I got to remind myself a lot, is that everybody's on their own path, and there's a point, and they're at that spiritual level. Where I'd look at the Bible and I kind of see it as something that no longer serves me. It really never served me in the first place. And so I got to deal with my own bias, but I still got to love and accept others and and where they're at.
Right. Yeah. For me, I find it to be a useful way of communicating with people who believe in it strongly. And so, like, people are like, oh, I'm a follower of Christ, or they say they're Christian or whatever. And so I say, well, then you gotta Jesus said, "If you love me, follow my commands," and he told us to forgive, love, and be kind to one another. And then they might there might be some back and forth, but then I can just give them the Bible quotes where Jesus says these things: "Forgive that you may not be that you may be forgiven," and if you don't forgive, you won't be forgiven. And all those other things. And then it just kinds of like totally
You're being a rascal then.
a rascal. What's a rascal?
A rascal.
You are weaponizing scripture, my friend.
For love and kindness. All things that were made for evil, God uses for good. See?
See, now the way I see it is, that I tried really, really hard to not like it. I tried to like keep at it. No, there's got to be Roman control. It's got to be nonsense. But then people keep telling me stuff, and I keep going and looking at it, and it keeps blowing my mind open all over the wall. So you got to give it its credit where it's due. There's a lot of good shit in there. You just got to kind of, for me, it comes down, you got to learn how to read it. Yeah.
Through
like
the
if you
Jesus
just
lens.
read it like unapologetically, yeah, it can actually be quite a dangerous book. As it's quite easy to weaponize.
Yes. Yeah, especially the Old Testament. Yeah, if you take...
Whereas, like if you go to it with retro causality way, look at it now and be shocked by what it is, rather than expecting it to be something different. For example, I always say this to people: go and look at the Book of Psalms. It's a spell book. It's written the same way as a grimoire. Go and look. In every single passage in the Book of Psalms, there is a section that's got one line that doesn't fit in how the passage reads. If you put that one line into gematria, whatever, blah, blah, blah stuff, it'll give you the name of the angel that performs the magic for you. The entire book is written as a grimoire.
Wow. That's interesting.
Right? And it's only when you know enough about this stuff that you can go and have a look and know what you're looking at. And you kind of get the keys of how to hack it. So you can be like, oh my God, what this one? Daniel? Oh my God, Dan of God? That's who does this one.
Wow.
Isn't grimoire a word that comes from Harry Potter?
No. Grimoire is a type of magical book. A lot of the time they'd say that it would have a demon trapped inside. So the Necronomicon would be a famous example of a grimoire.
I've never heard of that book.
It's just like a French name for a spell book, basically.
Grace has something to say. Go ahead, Grace.
Oh yes. So yeah, the grimoire. I like that. But as far as it, Edgar Casey, he has a really interesting interpretation of the Book of Revelations. It's on YouTube. Like, you can find a bunch of different ones, but I usually like to listen to the one by Brian Scott, Edgar Casey, on the Book of Revelation, and he talks about it. So the symbolism in it, and it's really about so his take on it, and what his interpretation of it is that the Book of Revelation is really about like your own personal journey and the
chakra
the guide through the chakras. Yes, thank you. That's right. Yes, exactly.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And Emmett Fox is another one who's big on the Bible as like mysticism, right, as opposed to a literal interpretation. So I get a lot from those more than the literal stuff. But the literal stuff is, that can be fun too. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. But I love that the grimoire was brought up. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Fred, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Now, I just wanted to point out and remind to those who already know this, that whenever you're looking at Edgar Casey's, and I have nothing against Edgar Casey, I love Edgar Casey, but to point out that it was known that Edgar Casey got his information, I think, pretty much strictly from the Akashic Record. And anytime anybody, anywhere, gets any information from the Akashic Record also includes thought forms and thought form complexes which never manifested physically in our 3D timeline. So anytime someone sits there and thinks of a scenario and imagines it vividly in their mind, it registers in the Akashic Record, just like our subconscious mind recognizes or registers every thought and emotion as immediately happening. It's the same thing with the Akashic Record. So whenever Edgar Casey was downloading information from the Akash, there was always the possibility that the information gleaned from that reading could have been strictly just thought form. And I just want to remind everybody of that.
That's really helpful, Fred. Thank you so much for that. Yes, thank you.
I'm
It's
not
like the-
saying
the-
that his
the-
information
yeah,
is
thank you.
bad, but I'm just saying that unless you are doing it yourself or you're directly asking somebody in real time that does have connection with the Akash for filtered information for this 3D timeline, you have to make sure that you're keeping in mind that there are times that he was probably gleaning from thought form, not physical 3D, congruent with this timeline information.
Well, yeah,
That's all.
and especially for the future stuff, it's all possibility probabilities. So he may have given a legitimate possibility, but the probability at this time nexus is probably nil, because as soon as you predict something, you've already changed the probability of it happening.
This is so helpful. Thank you so much for that, Fred and Andrii, for building on that. I so appreciate that. Thank you. Yay.
All right. Well, we're actually at 9:00. Was there any? Okay, maybe we'll just quickly finish this little coursey do. Cultivate faith and patience. Yes. Okay. Intermediate advanced extensions. Lucid or conscious dreaming. Possible but rare. Pursue only with persistence and balanced energy center. Confederation offers to meet seekers in that space if skill is achieved. Wow, guys. You could meet the Confederation in your dreams. Dream-based magical work. Adepts surround planetary negativity with love light in sustained visualization, then ground the working by clapping or stamping. Interesting. Archetypical exploration and past life echoes arises naturally as trust builds. The hypnotherapy or deep meditations can aid, yet tread carefully and respect psychological integrity. Common pitfalls and gentle warnings. Overanalysis can extinguish the delicate flame of symbol. Balance intellect with contemplative feeling. Seeking control rather than cooperation may shut down recall. Approach dreams as respected elders, not servants. So I think this might be an issue, like with some certain types of approach to lucid dreaming, where you want it to be like a movie of your own making, which you could do. But I've heard that when you do that, you actually don't end up feeling well rested afterwards. Forcing memories that the deeper self withholds can destabilize. Allow timing to unfold. A simple nightly ritual. 5-step recap. Align and protect. A brief prayer, visualization, being wrapped in light. That's that whole challenging process. State your request. Higher self, please teach me through dreams that most serve love today. Sleep in that attitude of faith. Awaken and record. No judgment, just capture. Morning meditation. Offer the symbols back to silence. Let the meaning rise organically during the day. Repeat. Over weeks and months, you will build a living conversation with a deeper self. One dream, one symbol, one healing insight at a time. Closing thought. The dreaming self and the waking self together form the puzzle to be solved. Day by day, night by night. Love patiently completes the picture. May your nightly journeys be wrapped in love and your waking hours shine with the light distilled from them. Adonai, my friends, the sweet and sweet dreaming. All right. I don't know if anyone has any final comments.
Now I'm thoroughly confused.
What are you confused about?
Everything, life in general, the illusion, what's going on here. Why some people can do things and then I can't do the same things.
Well, I don't know. It takes. I'm sure you can. Like I read a quote. God doesn't play favorites. You can achieve all the same things. You just need to put in the intention, the desire, and the practice, and the discipline,
The focus.
the focus. Yes.
Yeah. I don't focus well too well.
And there's if you want, you can take some lecithin. That helps with focus.
Oh, a drug.
Okay, so
No, it's a
I was actually
supplement.
going to say this earlier on.
Oh.
I've avoided saying this because I always say it whenever the dream thing comes up.
Uh-huh.
But I've read lots and lots and lots and lots of books about astral projection, and I've done it quite a lot.
Mhm.
I can put up. There's a archives.org mass library of astral projection books. I think it's got 70 odd books in it. All I did was I read through those, and I gave myself like a week to kind of practice and whatever else. And then I learned basically, well, I kind of taught myself how to dream one night. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I didn't think that I could, because I just never remembered them. Then the next time I proved to myself that I could lucid dream and take control of the dream world. And finally, then the next step is actual astral projecting, where you don't build a dream world, where you exit the body. I highly recommend that.
Cool. Carmen? Go
Hi.
ahead.
When you meditate, Bill, avoid analyzing. Don't analyze.
Oh, I don't want to meditate. I don't.
Okay. I just wanted to point that out. Okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, that would be, why then, Bill. I mean, meditation is kind of the most repeated thing the Confederation asks everyone to do.
I did my meditation today.
Oh, good, very good. And that's one of the things. Those recurring dreams I was having, they kept happening, and now I have a morning routine where every morning, that at least I'm home at the same time as my child is awake, we do a 10-minute meditation together. So at least we start our day together, and have an interaction and a hug and all that. So
And he doesn't get pissed off at you at that?
no. Well, my younger child, he likes meditating with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When he was a baby, I would do lots of meditation, and so he's used to it. Whereas my older child, when he was a baby, I was not really into meditating, and so he's not into meditating either. That seems to be how it works. Yes. Yeah, that's why I do it with my younger child, because trying to get all the family to agree is too complicated, but I can at least get my younger child to agree. So that's good.
Yeah, that damn free will.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it works in our favor. All right. So I guess with that, if there's nothing else, then as I found you, I leave you in the love and in the light of the infinite creator, the one within you and all around you. Oh, my friends, go forth, therefore rejoicing in the infinite power and the infinite peace of the infinite creator, Adonai. Okay. I've ended the stream, but you guys